This is News 25 with Deanna O'Donnell and Unette Gentry. News 25, local news you can count on. News is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Call 727-9900 today for your free consultation. If you need a lawyer, you need Nelson. This segment of the news is brought to you by Silver State Health, bringing quality medical and psychiatric care to Pahrump. Call 775-505-1214 for an appointment.
Good evening. You're watching KPVM-TV News 25. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
And I'm Unette Gentry. Thanks for joining us this Tuesday, October 13th.
Well, a stretch of Highway 160 between Pahrump and Las Vegas helps another car set a new land speed record. The record-breaking speed was achieved Saturday, just 3 years after a different car set the current speed record on that same stretch of highway.
Speeding cars are a familiar sight on Nevada Highway 160 between Pahrump and Las Vegas, but they usually don't go this fast. Saturday, a hypercar manufactured by SSC North America reached record-breaking speeds between Tacoma Road and Sandy Valley Road, which is expected to give it the title of world's fastest production car. Right now, we don't know exactly how fast that was. SSC North America tells us they'll make an official announcement in the next few days when they'll disclose the car's top speed. As for the car itself, it's a 2020 SSC Tuatara, seen here on the company's website. And while we don't know how fast it went Saturday, it is reported to have a top speed of 312 miles per hour. The entire day's events were documented by crews filming on the ground and in the air, with cameras attached to both a helicopter and a small jet that followed alongside the speeding car. SSC North America's other hypercar, the Ultimate Aero, held the title of world's fastest production car in 2007, reaching a top speed of just over 256 miles per hour on a rural paved road in eastern Washington state. Since then, two other production vehicles have gone faster, and the current record for world's fastest production car is held by the Koenigsegg Agera RS, which reached nearly 278 miles per hour in 2017, also on the same stretch of Highway 160. Saturday's event did cause some travel delays in the area. Southbound 160 traffic was diverted into the northbound travel lanes for several hours, and all traffic was held up when the hypercar was making its speed runs.
And the Nye County Sheriff's Office has arrested a man in connection with the August 9th burglary of the Smokin' Head vape shop.
Sheriff's deputies responded to a business alarm at approximately 3:15 a.m. on August 9th at the Smokin' Head vape shop on Highway 160. A vehicle fleeing the scene was successful in eluding capture. Deputies found that the door had been forcibly kicked in. Two individuals had entered the closed business and stole multiple water pipes and vape pens, and one individual stayed outside. The value of the items taken were under $1,200. Employees were able to provide deputies with digital photographs from their video surveillance system. The business also used social media to post these photographs, and two names continued to be mentioned and led to the identification of a juvenile suspect and an adult named Craig Cogshaw. The juvenile suspect was taken into custody as a runaway and questioned regarding his alleged involvement in the burglary. During the interview, the juvenile allegedly confirmed his involvement in the burglary and also confirmed that the other male on surveillance with him was allegedly Cogshaw, a longtime family friend. The juvenile said that he was peer pressured into committing the crime and was intoxicated by substances allegedly provided by Cogshaw and the other male in the vehicle. Cogshaw was arrested for burglary of a business and conspiracy burglary.
Thanks to Missy Kohler for that report. Well, the state and county has added the October 8th death of an inmate at Core Civic Southern Nevada Detention Center to the federal facility here in Pahrump to the county's totals. 29-year-old Brandon Patton died while in custody of the Core Civic Detention Center. The Las Vegas Review-Journal says attorneys had filed 2 motions for Patton's release due to the coronavirus, but 6 weeks before Patton died, a judge ordered him to stay at the detention center. Patton pleaded guilty in March to trafficking marijuana, use of a firearm during a crime, and a felon in possession of a firearm after prosecutors say he was found with 2 guns and marijuana while the North Dakota resident was here in Nevada. Patton said Patton had pre-existing health conditions, including congestive heart failure, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, diabetes, and high blood pressure.
Additionally, the county reports Tonopah and the Manhattan positive cases were moved to another jurisdiction due to residency. There were 4 new positive cases in Pahrump reported and confirmed by this morning's email. There have been 18 new cases in Pahrump reported the past 7 days. No new cases outside Pahrump reported in the past 11 days. Overall, there have been 540 confirmed cases of COVID-19 positives since the first reported case in March. Chemisys Laboratory through Serenity Health has partnered with the Nye County Sheriff's Office and Nye County to provide drive-up COVID-19 testing for Nye County and surrounding communities. Testing in Pahrump is now Monday, 7 p.m. until 9 p.m., Wednesday, 7 a.m. until 9 a.m., and Friday, 7 a.m. until 9 a.m. There's no pre-registration required. You can just show up with your ID and insurance card if you have insurance. If you don't have insurance, you may still get tested. And that testing will be at Serenity Health at 2280 East Calvada Boulevard, and people will be lining up in the Calvada eye for testing. And stay tuned, News 25 will be right back with your financial news.
You're watching News 25, the most recognized and farthest-reaching local news in Nye County. News 25, local news you can count on.
Welcome back to News 25. Well, Apple shares are soaring with the release of the latest iPhone. Amazon's Prime Day kicks off today, and cloud communications company Twilio expands its cloud business with a merger. All that and more in your financial news.
Tapping our news is stocks that are making big moves. Apple shares continue to gain ground. Apple today releases its new iPhone, the iPhone 12, along with 5G cellular networks. Amazon kicks off its 2-day Prime shopping spree today. Walmart, Target, Best Buy, and JCPenney are also offering discount deals to compete. Retailer Dillard's is getting a boost. That's because one of billionaire Warren Buffett's top lieutenants is buying more than 1 million shares in Dillard's stock. Twilio, the cloud communications company, has urged to merge. Twilio is buying Segment for $3.2 billion in stock. That deal is expected to close by the end of the year. Cloud services are in demand as schools and businesses rely on online options to stay connected during the pandemic.
To find out where you can see us every day, go to businessfirstam.com.
Thanks, Angela. Well, the county and town offices located near the duck pond at 2100 East Walt Williams Drive will be closed due to a rodent issue until further notice. The office staff will be working remotely and responding to emails and phone calls. The offices closed include the county administration, including privileged licensing, human resources, and town and Pahrump business licensing and facility rentals. The neighboring building containing the finance offices and ambulance billing is not impacted and remains open.
And the Nevada Highway Patrol is investigating a 2-car crash at the intersection of Highway 160 and Vista Avenue here in Pahrump.
A Nissan Rogue SUV and Ford Fusion sedan collided at the intersection of Highway 160 and Vista Avenue just before 7 o'clock Monday evening. Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue, Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies, and Nevada Highway Patrol troopers all responded to the scene. Medics checked all occupants, but everyone declined to be medically transported to the hospital. Right now, it's not clear exactly what happened, but the Ford did sustain considerable front-end damage, and its bumper was torn off by the impact of the crash.
Well, every year, Nye County records numerous traffic crashes that involve a rollover, and many times those crashes result in serious injury or death. Nye County Sheriff's Office Lieutenant Adam Tibbetts explains what that is and provides some tips for getting your car back on the road safely.
We've got a lot of narrow highways and narrow streets out in Nye County. I mean, most of our roads are 2-lane. We don't have a lot of 4-lane and 6-lane highways. So for that reason, cars are closer to the edge of the road. On top of that, it's so rural. There are a lot of times that people are driving long distances between, say, here and Tonopah, and they get drowsy and run off the road. And the reaction, the natural human reaction, is to jerk yourself back onto the road, and that's exactly the opposite of what a person should do. The most important thing to do is stay calm and keep the car traveling in a generally straight line. To jerk the wheel and make any sudden movements can be disastrous. You want to ease yourself back onto the roadway as quickly as possible, but not quick. Surprisingly, on a general off-road recovery, there's not much damage, if any, to a vehicle. It seems scary, it seems really rough, but cars are built, they handle tough potholes on paved roads, so hitting a rock on the side of the road or a bump in the dirt is no different than that. One of the most common outcomes of overreacting to running off of the road is a rollover accident. And that same centrifugal force that could cause the vehicle to roll is the same centrifugal force that will be acting on the body inside of the cabin. And if there's an opening, even if it's a broken window, the body will find its way out of that opening and be thrown several hundred feet in some instances, and there's definitely the possibility of the car rolling over on top of the person. So much of life is mental preparation, and simply knowing the dangers of jerking the wheel to get back on the road, you can mentally prepare yourself if that happens, and you should talk to your young drivers as they're coming of age and starting to drive, and teach them the importance of not jerking the wheel and overcorrecting. On behalf of Sheriff Sharon Worley and the rest of the Nye County Sheriff's Office, we remind everyone that seatbelts save lives, never drive impaired, and if you're tired, pull over and rest.
In more local news, at the October 6th Board of County Commissioners meeting, the board was asked to consider the status of abatement of a public nuisance property located at 5 Warrior Road in Tonopah.
Director of Planning for Nye County, Brett Wagner, briefed the board on the property in question. Recent photos of the property were reviewed by the commissioners. Some of the big concerns of the property were abandoned appliances, mainly refrigerators, that were not secure, and also propane tanks. The complainant had concerns for children that use the property for a cut-through on their walk to school, and that there should be a gate installed at the property to deter the walk-through. The complainant stated that there is a lot of wood debris, tires, junk vehicles, salvaged trailers, appliances, and gas cans. Wagner said that he did not think that the property has been made secure. Commissioner Wickman said that she believes that the job of the commissioners is to determine that this property is a public or private nuisance, and if the property is a threat to the health and welfare of the public. She stated that she believes that the property has been properly abated of the concerns listed and is now more of a private nuisance than a public nuisance. The other commissioners agreed with Commissioner Wickman, and the board approved the property is no longer a public nuisance.
Don't grab that remote. News 25 will be right back.
You're watching News 25, brought to you by Mountain West Lawyer, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500. News 25, local news you can count on.
Welcome back. Well, Pahrump resident and World War II veteran Bill Daly died July 29th at the age of 96. Bill was well known in the community, and friends, family, and fellow service members remembered him fondly during a memorial ceremony at the local VFW post.
They don't come any better than Bill when it comes to storytelling. He was a World War II vet. He did a phenomenal job as a motorcycle trainer scout at the very beginning of the war. Falsified his information to get in. Just a great guy all the way around. We were sorry to see him leave.
Bill had a lot of ideas of what he wanted for his memorial service because he was 96 years old. And so we put together some of the pictures from his past and the pictures from what he's been doing the last few years with the VFW and the DAV. The board that's on the right, which is the World War II board, I chose photos from when he was in World War II, from when he first got married to his wife Peggy, and they traveled the country on a motorcycle, and then where they were in their RV, that's a different part of the board where they were together, and then the whole other board is from the events that we have done in the last 5 years through the VFW. And his favorite food was spaghetti. And so we just got the favorite things that he loved together, and everybody helped out, and we put it together for a very wonderful event.
The people in this town are so friendly, and that's the reason my mother and father wanted to stay here and not move back to the East Coast. This is where they wanted to end their lives here, because they felt so at home here, you know.
He had asked me that when he passed away to make sure his obituary, that I wrote it, and make sure that it was in the paper for 1 month, which it was. And he said because he wanted to make sure everyone in town knew he was dead. there's so many funny stories, but my best time with him was the day that I went to visit him, and he and I sat down and went through all his pictures from World War II, because my father served in World War II also. And I have a map of where my father served. So I brought it over, and the two of us went over the map together. Really? Yes, and he got to show me where he was versus where my father was. And so it was a wonderful afternoon, and we were there about 4 hours going through everything.
You know, we all love Bill immensely, and, you know, like I said, when he passed, we were sorry to see him go. But today is about him and celebrating his life.
And turning to helpful health news, the coronavirus is giving us one more reason to get a flu shot this year. Recent research suggests that getting a flu shot vaccine does not increase the risk for getting COVID-19. Cleveland Clinic's Dr. Joe Zinn led the research team.
Our results showed that patients who received influenza vaccine were not at higher risk of being hospitalized, being admitted to the intensive care unit, or die from COVID-19.
Dr. Zen and his colleagues wanted to see if flu vaccination had any impact on COVID-19 infection. They analyzed data from over 13,000 COVID-19 tests and compared people who had received a flu vaccine to those who had not. Results show influenza vaccination was not associated with increased occurrence of COVID-19 or with more severe cases of the disease. Flu vaccine did not appear to offer any protection against coronavirus either.
So our surprise was that we don't think it is really it can prevent COVID, but at least it does not make COVID any worse.
The good news is a flu shot is safe to receive in the midst of COVID-19, and during a pandemic, it's important to prevent what we can. So Dr. Zen recommends everyone get a flu vaccine. Complete results can be found in the Journal of Clinical and Translational Science.
News 25 WeatherCam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
Hi, it's John Kohler from KPVM Channel 25 News. We're on location here on Highway 160. Right across from Saddle West is Quality Signs and Designs. Fine sponsors of a great event we've got coming up on Halloween. Halloween Eve, it's Trunk or Treat from 5 to 8. It's out at Betty Loop. If you haven't been to Betty Loop, head north on Highway 160, just past Home Depot, grab a right at Betty, and then the Loop is the whole thing right there. It's a great place to park your car, open up the trunk, and get rid of all that candy. There'll be kids coming by. We're going to make sure it's well advertised so people know about it, so you won't be wasting your candy at all. Plus, you get to see all the costumes, have all that fun. We're going to have music and a whole bunch of stuff. It's going to be great. 5 to 8, Halloween, and it's sponsored by Quality Signs and Design and KPVM. So we hope to see you out there. We'll tell you about the weather and all you can expect the next week when we return.
News 25 weather is brought to you by Dairy Council of Nevada. The splash of cream in your coffee, the dollop of sour cream on your burrito, the melted toasty cheese on your pizza. Undeniably delicious, undeniably dairy. Enjoy what's real.
Hi, good evening, Nevada, and buenos dias. Let's take a look at the weather, shall we? It's going to be fun. Oh, it'll be so much fun. Fun in Fernley and Fallon and Carson City. 83 degrees was your high mark in all three of those cities. It snuck down to lows in the, mid to low 40s. You guys are kind of interesting. Tonopah, 79 degrees. What goes on in Tonopah that it's always colder than every place up north? I don't know. Should be getting, warmer as you head south, I'd say. But 40 degrees was your low tonight. Goldfield, staring right at 81 and going, it's 81. What are you going to do? 41 for a low tonight. Beatty, 90 degrees. Gateway to Death Valley. And 53 was their low tonight. Amargosa, you saw 92. You're trying hard. You're putting on your try-hard pants on that hot weather. 54 degrees for a low tonight. And in Las Vegas, all the way down to 94. Things cooling off in Vegas. What's going on in Vegas? Everything's cooling off. 62 is your low tonight. Out in Death Valley, actually heating up from yesterday. 101 degrees was their high today, and 67 is the low. Let's take a look at the local weather. Hey, 91 degrees in Pahrump. That's about like paradise. 93 was our high today. Southwesterly winds to 5 miles an hour. I would have expected a little more smoke than we saw today, but it was not too bad. Humidity at 10%, a little bit dry, but that's all right. Sunrise this morning at 6:49 a.m., setting tonight just a titch after 6:09 p.m. A few more minutes tonight. Hey, celebrate that, all you vampires. More shopping opportunities. 57 degrees is our low tonight as we head into the humidity about 17%. We might see some clouds by morning, and those northeasterly winds to 5 miles an hour. It's not going to hurt a bit. Not a problem. Let's take a look at the rest of the week, shall we? Let's do that. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Okay, on to the week. 94 will be your high on Wednesday, and then it sort of degrades to about 84 on Tuesday. So we'll see a gradual cooling as we head on through the week. Winds staying pretty true at 8, 7, 5, 6. Not too many miles per hour. Lows in the mid to low 50s, and that'll be kind of pleasant as we head on. I'm kind of enjoying this fall weather, and I hope you are too. Back to the ladies on the desk.
Thanks so much, John. Well, we want to let everybody know that we're still continuing that contest for the COVID-19 project, and that is brought to you by KPVM-TV, Ace Country Radio, and Simply Divine Hair Salon. So if you know a lady who could use some uplifting and a makeover, Simply Divine is offering to do that. We are asking that you just send in your nominations, and you can email them to Deanna@KPVM25.tv. You can send those in, a little story about the lovely lady and why she needs a makeover, and we'll be picking that person. We hope to keep doing this every month, so we want to thank Simply Divine Hair Salon for participating and doing this. We think it's going to be something that really brings a smile back on the lady's face.
And speaking of bringing a smile to everyone's faces, we're asking for sponsors, volunteers, and donations for the upcoming Trunk or Treat event that's going to be in the Betty Loop, and that's just north of the Home Depot. And we need people to bring in any candy. You can also come out and volunteer. We'll be socially distanced if you have time. And we have wonderful sponsors for that event, and that is a part of our annual Halloween celebrations. But we're changing things up a bit to be healthier and safer this year. So come on out to Trunk or Treat with us.
And of course, if you want more information on that, you can go to sales@qualitysignsnv.com. You can even call us here at the station at 727-9400, and that is 100% right. Yeah. Instead of having it where Quality Signs was having it normally in their parking lot, we decided that it would be safer for us to have it out there on the Betty Loop. So definitely get involved. It's going to be lots of fun. All right, I'm Deanna, and that's your news.
And I'm Unette. Thanks so much for joining us. Good night.
Good night.